Good morning, everyone. This is Cynthia with your daily tarot card of the day. Welcome to you. Thank you for joining me. This week we're using the Renaissance Tarot. I have information about that in the description box below. I just want to welcome you here and say that whenever you happen to find this video, these messages, this tarot card, remember that there is probably a message here for you, and take what resonates, leave the rest. All right, let's see what card we have for today. The World card in reverse. That's interesting. Something turned your world upside down. Something came through, some news or a message or a resource or something that you were looking for, an aha or an inspiration. Something different. An aha moment or an inspiration. Something's come through for you. There we go. There we go. A little piece of amber to cover her up. YouTube has some special rules for tarot cards, and I don't think any so far have popped up that had that same kind of complete nudity. So I apologize, but she needs to be covered up. I should remember to do that before I do the readings, to go through the deck and sort of cover over. Other YouTubers put like a little piece of tape or something. Give them little pasties. Anyhow, so conservative we are. Almost Victorian. But this is Renaissance, not Victorian. So back to it. The World card usually signifies completions of a cycle, and sort of opens up the potentials and the opportunities as we're walking into a new cycle. There's a lot going on in the world these days, and there's a lot of shift of energies. And I'm not going to say that it's necessarily cultural or political shiftings, or like, but there's a paradigm. There's like a fundamental paradigm in the pervasive energy of humanity and the groups tribes, clans that we separate ourselves into, based on geographical location, based on preferences, whatever the case might be. So there are a lot of changes and shifts and things like that going on, but it's coming down to what I think is fundamentally a humanitarian paradigm shift, where we're looking at life, life on the planet, and life as part of the cosmos in a vastly different way. And I feel like whether you may be influenced by this or not, I'm kind of using that almost as an example of seeing like a macrocosm or a big picture. But in your own world, something could have come in, either news you were waiting for, or an opportunity you were hoping for, or a resource that you felt you needed to move forward. And it could have come in like unexpectedly, like thinking, oh my gosh, I thought that was going to take like another 3 months before that happened. I can't believe it's happening now. And that can be very surprising. It can flip you around. So maybe there's some sort of Uranian, excuse me just a moment, Uranian or Uranus energy with that. That could have that surprising upheaval. I feel like it's a good thing, even if it might appear overwhelming or stressful at the moment, but it feels like you can roll with it. Because, first of all, you can't change it. Second of all, the best way to the new beginning and what it is that you truly want is to go through the thing. It feels integral. It feels possibly karmic to be present in the here and now. So, and you could go off on the whole, why me, or why not right now, or this is wonderful, but I wasn't ready. Like whatever it is that comes in, you can sort of have those moments, but that's not. You need those moments to process, but you can't hang out in those moments. You have to let go of the question of how, what, where, why, and sort of say, okay, this is happening. How am I going to handle it? Right? So I feel like a completion of a cycle, and it feels like it's completing with a very powerful push. Now, it doesn't mean that the event or the situation necessarily has to be, extreme or like huge. It could be a major internal shift where you have an aha moment, and then you get that phone call and they give you some information. You're like, oh my gosh, it's really happening right now. I can do this. You know what I mean? Another energy that's coming in behind this could be a reluctance to make the move, to let go of the cycle that you're now full frontal faced with letting go of. That can be nerve-wracking. That can be sentimental. That can be difficult, challenging, fearful. But you are protected. The World card has in the four corners the four archangels, or representations thereof. Representations of the four gospels. So I'm not to suggest that you have to be a Christian or, that, but the idea being with those symbols that there's a protection on all sides, all four major directions. There's a protection for you in closing out this cycle and moving into a new one, accepting a particular opportunity, or, you know, the door to the elevator is closing and you have to decide now if you're going to jump on or if you're going to wait and see if there's another one. There usually always is, hint, hint. But it's telling you that this is the perfect time to go ahead and make your way through this change or this challenge, because why put yourself through having to deal with something similar at a later date when dealing with this now could clear it all out for you. It's a beautiful card, a wonderful opportunity, and I certainly hope that you remember to take a few deep breaths, to clear your head, to look at what's at hand right in front of you in the moment, and to try and recenter yourself from the emotions, whether they're, pleasurable or challenging, just to recenter yourself so you can regain some clarity and some inner stability so that you can move forward in a balanced fashion. Remember, yesterday we had the Fool card, and which is actually next in line in the Major Arcana. Whether the Major Arcana begins or ends with the Fool doesn't really matter. The World card is on the other side of that. So if you look at the Major Arcana with the Fool card at the beginning, then the last card in the Major Arcana would be the World. If you look at the Fool card at the end of the deck, because it is the 0, and it is very similar to the World card with the oval shapes, the circular wreath, it's very much that ending, new beginning, cycles changing kind of an energy. Then the World card comes before, if you're going to end your Major Arcana with the Fool. So yesterday we had the Fool card. Today we ended up getting the World card. She came out in reversed, which could be a resistance to the change or the closing of a cycle. But again, the first thing that I picked up on was something in your world turned upside down. And I did get a message that came through years ago. A friend of mine had given me a message about flamingo medicine, which I found very interesting. Confused, not my favorite, but the message that came with flamingo that my friend relayed to me was, when your world is upside down, find sustenance in your spiritual practice. I'm oversimplifying the message and the entire conversation, but that was kind of the gist of it. And the reason that flamingo was bringing that through was because of how they feed. When they upside down, they kind of turn their heads upside down and stir up the muddy waters, or they stir up the water and the mud in order to find the, tiny shrimp and things that they eat. Shrimp, snails, something like that. So they go under and they muddy up the waters, which means that they can't see clearly, but there's a certain amount of trust in their ability in the water, upside down, muddy and unclear, to get the sustenance that they need. Water being spiritual energy, the muddiness being the lack of clarity, the upside down head stirring up the waters, being something in your world turned upside down. So, I don't know, maybe you can piece that together for yourself. Maybe that has something in there for you. But the spiritual practice um, provides an internal sustenance that can help to stabilize and center us. And maybe you want to go over yesterday's Fool card, because that was a lot about the centeredness and being balanced as we're moving forward. So if there's resistance, if there's a sudden shift or a change that seems to be rocking your boat, I think the idea is the same, which is you're protected, and you can move forward to this new beginning. If you'd like to wait and just kind of muddle through this, or you're not ready yet to make certain changes, by all means take your time. But Spirit is encouraging you that, like, we've set this up so that you have the opportunity to make these changes that are necessary to get what you want, or to make these changes that you say you want, because they're going to move you forward. So we're giving this to you. We're helping set you up for this. So this is one of those opportunities you have to follow through. And you are protected in all directions. So remember that. New beginnings. It can be difficult, but you got this. So with that, I leave you peace and blessings, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. And I thank you very much for being here. Have a good day, everyone.